Today we'll be building this project. So this is a very simple HTML, CSS and JavaScript project with a functionality that changes the color of the background and also changes the value here. As you can see, this changes on click. So let's get started. So first I have to create my HTML file. Do my basic HTML. Okay, so I'm going to give it a background change title, but that is what it does basically. So as you can see, you have just three elements here, just three text here, three elements. So you have an h1, h2, then a button. But this is housed in a div that is also housed in another div inside the body element. So we're going to create two divs. So the second div is going to contain the h1 element. The h1 element that says click the button to display the color of a random X code. We are going to have an h2 that says the X code of the color is, as you can see, this value is, let me refresh, it's a this is actually a placeholder for a dynamic value, because this would change upon adding JavaScript to it. So for that, I'll put it in a span tag. It's in a span tag and put to be preceded by this $sign. I think the span tag could be on the same line too. So it's going to be on the same line, and put a placeholder of 0.6 and next code is either 3 or 6. I'm going to have a button. So let me start my file so you can see what we have. So this is what we have. The content of my button is click me. This is what we have. You can see we're almost there. We are getting there gradually. So for this, I'm going to do some CSS to be able to achieve this interface. So first, I'll give my parent div a class name of container, and the div that houses my element, I'm going to give it a class name of exclude. Okay, and since my button is going to also, my button also needs some CSS styles, I'm going to give it a class name of a class of button. So we need to create our CSS file and link our HTML to it. So first, if you notice, the font here is quite different from what is here. So for that, we would be using fonts also. So we're importing our fonts from fonts also. So I'm going to go to Google Fonts. Oh, sorry. I meant Google Fonts, not fonts also. So I'm going to look for the fonts that was used there, Comforter. Yeah, this is it. So for Comforter, I am going to go with a medium. I'm going to go with this. To go with this and say, okay, yeah, I've selected it. So since I'm importing it, I am going to grab the link from here. And the CSS style rules is we should use this. I want everything in my body to have that. I'm going to select my body tag and give it this property. So as you can see, the property has changed. So I'm just going to swipe my HTML to the right so you could see what I am trying to style. Smaller. Yep. So for my container class, I am going to give it a display of flex and justify content center, 9 items center. This shouldn't show until I give it a height and a width. So a height of 100 each. Okay, and let me give it a width of 95%. Okay, so I have my container in the center now. So I need to make my center to my the div housing, all of this to align to the center. As you can see, there's an alignment of center here. So I'm going to select the div that is housing all of that. Exclude, give it a text align of center. So yeah, you can see it's at the center. So the next thing is to select my H1, give it, if you notice there's an animation going on here, there is an alternation of colors after certain seconds. As you can see, this is from green to red to purple, then to yellow. So I am going to select my H1 and give it a text. It's going to be all uppercase. So I'm going to do a text transform of uppercase. Yeah, so it's on uppercase now. I'm going to give it a font size. So I'm using rem. 1 rem is equal to 16 pixels. So 2 rem will be equal to 32 pixels. And I am going to do an animation. My animation, the name I want to call the property that will be styled later is color change. The identifier that would hold the property style to take effect on this H1. And I want it to run for 7 seconds. I want it to run infinitely, and I want the properties to alternate. Yeah, okay. So I have that for my H1. For my H2, you can see there's a margin top here. So I'm going to just grab this and do a margin top of 15%. Then give it a font size of 2 rem also. Size of 2 rem. Okay. And for the button, my class name is 18 for the button. So I'm going to grab the class name and give it a color. I'm going to be using hexacode, so you see how hexacodes work. So FFF is the hexacode for white. So as you can see, it's white. Give it a background color of OD6 EFD. That is for blue. Okay, you can see it's white. Then I want to give it a border of 1 pixel solid, and I want to remove this. Okay, so I'm going to make the background transparent and give it a padding for spacing, a padding of 6 pixels. Okay, then I want the font size to be 16 pixels, so that's 1 rem. 12 pixel, pardon me, one rem. Then I'll give a border radius of, because of the sharp edges there, I want the border radius to be 0.25 rem. That's about 4 pixels or 3. Um, then I want the text to align. So whenever the content of this changes from thickness to a longer one, it's always going to be at the center. Text align center. Okay. Okay, so I think we've been able to achieve this, except that we have not done the animation part. So for the animation, I'm going to use the CSS keyword keyframe objects that the name of our identifier is, do not forget, color change. So I'm just going to grab it here. It has to be the same way you spelled it there. So see, I want the colors to alternate. I want 5 different colors to alternate after every 7 seconds. So I'm going to use percentages for the alternation. So I'm going to start at 0% and give it a color of let's say red. Then do this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, that's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. If you notice, it's just in red, just there, just red. So start alternating. I'll change this to green. So after red, it turns green, then goes red again. I'll change this to blue. Okay. I want to change this to, it should be yellow. That's my favorite color, so yellow. I want to change this to indigo. Indigo. And I should have a purple. No, indigo and purple are almost alike. So what color should I use? Let me just select a color from my color grid, from my CSS suggested colors. Okay, I think aquamarine or aqua. Let me do aquamarine. So this should be nice. So as you can see, from yellow goes to indigo, goes to aquamarine, comes back to red, green, and it's alternating just like that. So I want the text of my column, the size of my H1 and H2 to reduce at small screen sizes. So I'm going to set a media width. I'm going to set a media query for max width for screen sizes lesser than 480 pixel, from 480 pixel downwards. I'm going to give my H1 a font size of 1.5 pixel, 1.5 frame, sorry. Then do that for my H2. H2, okay? Yeah, so I think we've been able to achieve this. This is the same thing as well. We have here, click the button to, so we have this. Okay, so for the button to be able to change this value, to make it dynamic and also change the background, we need to start writing some JavaScript. So I'm going to index.js, create a JavaScript file, come to my HTML, put a script, and link my index.js here. Okay, so my index.js should come here. So for this, we would have to add an on-click event here. On-click event here and call it, let me call it color change. with a function. So whenever this button is clicked, this function is triggered. So I'm going to create a function change color, a function color change, sorry, function color change. Okay, that has so all X codes have values between 0 to 9 and A to F. So we need to create an array that generates numbers that are within this range. So for that, let's have an array. Let me call it X number and equate it to an array. Then fetch from 0 to 9 A to F. So let's just fetch it and put it here. So this is it here. So we would have an Xcode variable, an Xcode variable. This is a named variable that would be populated later by the value of whatever is randomly generated from we're going to do a math.random. So I'm going to have to create a loop that guide the number of times the math of random operation is carried out. So since exact codes are within the values of 0 to within the values, either code could either be 3 numbers or 6 numbers, and for this we are going to be using 6 numbers. So for this I'm going to start looping from 0. Let 0 equals, sorry, let I equals 0. Then this is going to run as long as I is less than 6, and it's going to run incrementally. So we want to have a variable called x decimal that is equal to the math.floor method that floors the values that are randomly produced from this math.random. So I'm going to explain this very soon. X x number dot length. Okay, so should close this so we can be able to see it. Okay, so this is what is happening here. I want to create a new console. I want to open my console and so math.random generates numbers between 0. It doesn't get up to 1. The highest it will go is 0.9. So, but if I should do math.random times 3, it's going to give me numbers between 0 and 2. So if I run this the first time, run it the second time, it will never give me a value that is equal to 3. It's going to generate random numbers between 0 and 2. So, but math.flow, what math.flow does is that it approximates whatever is generated from the math.random to the nearest low number. So if this math.random generates, remember that math.random is only between 0 to 0.9, so it's always going to be 0. Since we are looking at the least generated number, if I should generate numbers between 0 to 3, it's going to give me values that are the least approximated values of the result of the random operation. So as you can see, but I'll never get 3, but it gives me whole numbers. So if I were to do math.flow of this 1.2, it's going to still be 1. If I were to do math.random of 1.7, it's still going to be 1. Instead of it approximating it to 2 for me, like the normal mathematics would do, it will do 1, since 1 is the least value for this. So this is what it's doing here. It's giving us whole numbers. So we are assigning whatever that is written here to this x decimal. So we want this x code to be populated by, this will run the first time, to run and give us a value the second time, third, fourth, fifth. Then if you want to go for the sixth time to check if I by then the value of I will be 6. Check if it is less than 6. Then since 6 is not less than 6, then it's going to break. So it's going to give us 6 different numbers there since it's starting from 0. So we're going to populate our Xcode with whatever is generated by X decimal will be used to check for the index. To use to check for the index here. So in JavaScript arrays, let's say we had an array that says let's orange because an array of let's say um, um Shegun, then there's a number, sorry, there is a number, there is a boolean, um, there is bimbo, just a random name, and I want to fetch just false. So what I would do is that I would have to pass in the index of this false to give me to fetch out false from the array. So I will do orange, then pass the index of false, and indexes are counted from 0. So this is 0, 1, 2. So if I put in 2 here, I get the value false. If I should put in let's say 0, we get the value Shegun. So this is how it's going to work. So what is happening here is that upon running of this and a number is generated, so for this length, if you should count the length of this array, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So if you were to do math.random times 16, I would get values that are between 0 to 15, and I will not get anything up to 16. So let's say on this this dot length fetches 10. After running this math.flow, it fetches 10. Then I would come here and count my index 0, 1, 2, 3. This is 9, 10. This is 10. So that means that A will be here on first running. Then the value of I is incremented to 1. Then it runs again. Let's say the next value is B. Then it fetches and goes on and on until we have when the value of I is equal to 6 and it doesn't go again. By then this will have been completed. So that is what is happening here. So there's a difference in the way I spelled the name. So this is it here. So for me to be able to have access to this element in my JavaScript, I need to use DOM manipulation. I need to manipulate it and collect the ID. Don't forget that the ID here is oh sorry, there's no ID here. So I'm going to give it an ID of Xcode. Oh, sorry, that's the name of the class. Okay, let's call it X number. Okay, so let me just copy it so I do not make mistake in the name. And come to here and do document dot get elements by ID, then pass in the ID name and set the value to be equal to this S code because this S code would have been populated before getting here. So I'm going to Xcode. So sorry, I'm going to change the inner HTML since I am changing the value here. So I'm going to do that inner HTML and equate it to my Xcode. Okay. So click here now, you can see that it's changing. It's changing, the value is changing, the value is changing. Can you see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? It's generating 6 numbers because we are starting our looping from 0. If I started from 1, then we'll change this condition to be I less than or equal to 6 to make it true. So since we are starting from 0, so you can see that. So for us to be able to grab this value, because this value obviously equates to an X code with a particular color, we need to bind it to our body with a styling, with an inline styling. So documents dot get elements by get elements by tag name. We're going to grab our body element since we want the body to be the one that will change, and pick the first index, the first item there, and give it a style attribute and pass in the background. That's the style that we want to change to be equal to. So for X codes, we have to proceed. Don't forget that this one was there before, so we have to put it here also too, and put the hash, do some concatenation, and add it to whatever is gotten from our X code. So whatever is gotten from our X code is added to this and generates to become a particular color and is attached to our background of the body. So once you click, you see it changes, and our media query on small screen, you can see that the size of our application sizes changes. So the size of our H1, H2 changes. So this is pretty much it. The link to the live demo of this work will be in the description box, and the link to the GitHub code base will also be in the description. Please like and um, give me a thumbs up, and I would like to hear from you in the comment section about what you feel about the video. Thank you so much.